alienation of labor. No doubt about it, Chaplin was a leftist, of a devoted and radical kind.
As a matter of fact, the first time we ran the picture together, I was so taken with it that I about fell off the chair. And he told me later that he wondered a little bit about that, whether I was putting it on. He said, I soon discovered it was not so.
Attention, foreman. Trouble on bench 5. Check on the nut tightener. Nuts coming through loose on bench 5. Attention, foreman.
Charlie did not know how to notate music, and he didn't know how to extend musical ideas, and they needed somebody to work with him. The fellows who were in charge, Alfred Newman and Eddie Powell, knew my work from New York, and they brought me out here, and I went to work for Charlie. And he really had a wonderful instinct for music. They were simple little tunes, and my job was to take them down, to alter them when I thought they needed altering, and that's what I did. We worked 5 days a week, sometimes 6. And it was altogether quite wonderful. You know, he sort of became a sort of a surrogate father for me.
What you feel sometimes with a thing like the eating machine, you see an investment in a prop and a shot and an idea. So we have to let this really play here, and we have to do it. And it's about twice too long, maybe, the eating machine.
There's nothing in film like the feeding machine. It was just absolutely wonderful. The man is reduced to something less than the sum of the parts. You see, he's just an animal which is being fed by a machine. Few people know that table which goes around. Charlie was manipulating that himself. It wasn't somebody else doing it. He was a guy with gadgets underneath the table, and he would make it turn around and all that sort of stuff. The man was simply incredible. And he also manipulated that mouth wiper that comes and hits him in the face and hurt him and just made his face puff up and his mouth puff up. He was amazing.
Sometimes you feel something akin to pretension in the agenda of modern times, and it's a little off, it's distancing. At the same time, when I watch Modern Times, I'll sit there and feel just slightly superior, which with a great master, part of you is urging, how can I get a leg up on this guy and feel at least even with him? But then there'll suddenly be a sequence and you think, that was so smart and so efficient.
Nothing was smarter or more efficient than this sequence. The ever-helpful tramp picks up a red flag, and before he knows it, he's innocently leading a communist demonstration. There's something prescient in the sequence. Within a decade, Chaplin himself would be cruelly red-baited.
In a strange way, I think that Modern Times is a bit of a throwback, because if you look at it, it's really a collection of 4 two-reelers.
The film was certainly not all politics all the time. Goddard was cast as the waif opposite the tramp, and much of the comedy was as innocent as any Chaplin had ever done.
In Modern Times, it is brilliant, and you're following the story, and it kind of peters out. It doesn't go anywhere. It's just a brilliant trip, and each skit is very funny and brilliantly executed, and it goes along on the momentum of his genius, the fact that he's funny and the bits are funny.
We talked politics, we talked just about everything, because he had a real knowledge of all these things. He had a mind like a super addict. We went to Musso and Frank's for lunch every day, 5 days a week. We were driven there in Charlie's car, and we had a table which was reserved for us, and we'd sing. There was a thing called I Want a Lassie, And it was a tune Charlie knew and I knew, and we'd sing to that tune, I want a curry, a ricey, spicy curry, with a dish of chutney on the side. And the people in the place would look and say, what's that? And then they'd suddenly see it was Charlie Chaplin, and they had great prospects for their evening conversations, so they listened. I think people sometimes don't understand about the fact that a man like Charlie, who was a millionaire, can do this poverty-stricken tramp. Yet he did it. There was never anything more convincing in films, I think, than the way he did it. And that's a great tribute to him.
Despite the film's casual construction, some critics thought Chaplin was beginning to take himself and the world too seriously. But still, in the end, he was able, for the last time in movie history, to find an open road into a better future. This time with a pretty girl on his arm.
I really still loved Charlie. He was not just like a father to me, which he was in some ways, but I admired him very much for the constancy of his point of view. He really had a feeling for those who lead ordinary lives and are sometimes shortchanged by circumstances.
After Modern Times' release in 1936, Charlie and Paulette took a vacation cruise. Charlie never saw a newsreel camera he wouldn't play to. What was supposed to be a short Hawaiian vacation would soon stretch into a 3-month tour of Asia. Back home, people began to wonder if Charlie and Paulette were actually married. They later claimed that they were married, though there's no record of the nuptials, somewhere in Asia. Still later, when their relationship began to come apart, they found themselves denying rumors of divorce. For the moment, though, they were obviously delighted with one another's company. And Chaplin was beginning to plan his biggest and most problematic movie to date. The Great Dictator opens on the Western Front during World War I. It is Chaplin's first all-talking production. In it, he would play 2 characters. One of them would be a tramp variation, an innocent Jewish barber serving bravely, if ineffectually, in Tomania's army.
Breach secured! Stand clear! Ready! Fire!
Behind-the-scenes footage shot by Brother Sidney has recently been discovered.
When the dictator, I remember, he had a thing where he pulled the gun, he fired this big Bertha sort of a cannon. And I was out there, and I let out a big ha, 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 ha. And he said, cut, cut. I thought he was going to be sore as hell. He was absolutely thrilled that somebody laughed at it.
Strafmix-Hilfensekt, der Wiener Schnitzel mit der Lagerbeerden und das Sauerkraut. Hey, der Filuten-Sack der Filleppen.
Chaplin threw their famous resemblance right in De Fuhrer's face. His pictures were now banned in Germany, but that's not what motivated his portrayal of the dictator Hinkle. For his comic German accent, he drew on his vaudeville training. Most comedians of his era could talk Dutch.
Ein der Staff mit seiner Klatsch. Hey, der Stratz mit Sekretäten da. Mit seiner Tratsch mit Sketten. Mein einer Täter wieder strafen. Die strafen, sie strafen.
You know, I really started to see movies when I was 13 after the World War II. I lived in Czechoslovakia, which was occupied by the Nazis. Suddenly comes the Great Dictator. And there was a liberation. Because single-handedly, Chaplin reduced this monster into a pathetic, ridiculous, venomous clown.
Hey, der Filuten-Sack der Klärten. Der Strangleichen mit der Hulten-Sack der Fläten. Und der Blitzen-Sack der Helden. Besieg! Besieg!
You can say that the Allies liberated Europe physically, but the great dictator Chaplin liberated us spiritually and made you think also, because suddenly you realize watching, how is it possible that this pathetic creature had such a power over good German people? Millions of people followed him, died for him, for this insane lunatic.
almost as if he made that film because he felt that Hitler had become his rival in reaching out for everybody.
Dein big Buben, er fein als dieses Crackers mit Alten. Banana.
The Hitler character, he had a strong relationship to the early tramp. He was a troublemaker, who was primitive. And the other person, the barber, is more his human side. It's interesting, the relationship between the two and how they get confused.